yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. It's the most wonderful time of the year. No, ladies and gentlemen, it is not Christmas time. Um, it is South Florida Avenue time, season 2, episode 1. Give it up for them boys. It's your boy Mick. It's your boy Vic. Back in the building, back like we never left. Give it up for them boys one time. Say,
We
woo!
back, baby. Vic, so happy to see you, man. Glad to be back for another football season. Welcome back, viewers. We appreciate y'all. We're back.
100%, 100%. We always have a good time doing this, but let's just remind everybody real quick what we talk about, what this is. You know what I'm saying? We try to stay humble on here, but realistically speaking, let me remind them what they're getting caught up in right now. If you're looking for some no nonsense, real deal reporting, accurate information about what's going on with sports, specifically football, you are definitely in the right place. You can always rely on my bro, big bro Mick. You can always rely on your boy Vic to bring you unquestionable content. But this season, we here for everything. We want all the smoke. We got all the jokes. We no holds barred. You know me. I think we got to start keeping record on this thing because maybe you know what I'm saying they'll take us serious this time because I think if they just run a couple episodes, bro, and go to the casino, you know what I'm saying? They might have made some money this year or saved some money last year. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You pick your poison, but we ain't got no poison over here, but we got all facts, and it's going to be accurate, and it's going to be all that. What you think about that?
I agree with you, bro. Honestly, I agree with you. Now, let's be honest. We are going to sprinkle in some opinion in there, too. It's not going to be all factual because we do have to sprinkle in our own little personal biases and whatnot. And we let it be known right off the rip, who we rocking with and who we not rocking with. So we make it clear, but we do sprinkle in some of our own little opinions in there. So we're hoping that you're entertained. We're hoping you're being informed. And we appreciate you guys rocking with us.
Yeah. Shoot, are we going to start with opinions right now? I think we should. Hey, man, you know what? We got to do. We doing what we want to do around here.
Do what you want to do, man. What you want to talk about?
I'll start with some opinion because I was supposed to go downstairs and grab my my Saints hat. You know what I'm saying? When I saw you come in here bucked out, you know what I mean. But it's okay. But at the same time, I probably would have made sure I did that if we were 3-0 this week. But here we are sitting at 2-1, and dang man, I just said all that. I blew all that smoke before the episode when we just started, so I got to keep it real. I guess I can say, you know what I mean? I'm disappointed, but the reality of the matter is, even though we were 2-0, we look good, bro. But we still got Derek Carr at quarterback, and I'm still concerned about that. And last week, going from we had 90 points in the most points of any NFL team all year so far, and then we just put up a sig last week with like 3 points against some scrubs, in my opinion. So I don't know, it kind of humbled us a little bit. I think so. The Eagles, you know what I'm saying? 15 points put up by the Eagles, and clearly the Eagles aren't having a good year. Lost to Atlanta. Atlanta is not a worthy competitor. Well, I don't know. I'll stand corrected on that. I like Atlanta. Atlanta's pretty legit.
Atlanta's got a good team. They're good. They got a good. They're 2-1.
So I gotta talk a little jump. But still, the good news is that the Eagles aren't the Eagles. So I'm very disappointed that they came into our house and we didn't do what we needed to do. I think it was a really big game, but it was also a big game for the Eagles. So what can I say?
It looks like the Eagles got a lot of things corrected against you guys. And fortunately for the Eagles, but unfortunately for my team, we play the Eagles this week. So they're doing their little NFC South schedule. Yeah. So, that's what happens. We pick an opponent and everybody from the division plays the opponent. So we're doing the NFC East opponents this year for our off schedule. So at some point, you guys will play you've already played the Cowboys. We'll play the Cowboys. We're going to have to go on through the rest of that conference. So we're going to see the Eagles. We're going to see the Cowboys. We're going to see the Giants. We're going to see the Commanders. And we saw the Commanders already. That's a whole other subject. We'll get to Jalen. Can't remember Daniels, Jalen Daniels. I should remember his name. He went to LSU. He carved us up here at University of Florida. So we'll talk about that momentarily. But back to your Saints/Eagles. I think what we saw with the Saints is that we saw probably a better version of who we can expect the Saints to be, if I'm being frank. And we probably saw the version of the Eagles we expected to see at the beginning of the season. So it looks like the Eagles got some things corrected against you guys defense-wise. Saquon Barkley is going to be a problem against anybody that he plays. If Jalen Hurts can figure out what's going on with his turnover issue, this Eagles team will be a better version of the last year Eagles team. So I think it's still early in the season. Everybody's still trying to find their identity. No reason for you to, throw the how do they put that phrase? Throw the baby out with the
On the
for the
towel?
bathwater. Throw the baby out for the
Yeah.
bathwater. That's what they say, or something like that. So no reason for you to bail ship yet. But we all know that if you pressure Derek Carr, it may cause problems for Derek Carr. And the first 2 weeks he didn't have that problem, but last week he did. So we'll see. We just got spanked by the Broncos at home. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It happened. Bo Nix looked like, I don't know, like he was back in Auburn, not even Oregon. He was back in Auburn, running around the yard, throwing balls to wide receivers who I don't know the names of. So it's an early season. Teams, I think, are still figuring out their identities, but here, this is what we're talking about, and this is what we're going to see. So we got the Eagles this week. We're going to see what happens with that. You guys are playing the
Falcons.
And that's another interesting thing. 2-1. So let's stay in the division. The Falcons are 2-1, coming off a big game on Sunday night. They just beat who did they beat Sunday?
They lost, actually.
Big game. Did they lose?
They just lost. Unfortunately, but I mean, listen, man, it was against the Chiefs. So
no, it wasn't it was the was it the Chiefs?
No, they just lost to the Chiefs last Sunday.
Yeah, Chiefs.
But,
yeah, that's right. Close game.
Week before that, they just had beat the Eagles. But realistically speaking of the Eagles again, like you're saying, the reality of the matter is their record would look completely different if the same Saquon Barkley that showed up last week would have showed up the week before, dropped a ball right at the end of the game, made them basically lose the game. He catches that, game's over. We know how it goes, so can't question it too much. But yeah, very interesting week, especially in the NFC South, which is our favorite. Because big games going on, big game for you guys against the Eagles.
Yeah,
kind of a deal breaker type of situation or a pole position type of game. Same thing for us against Atlanta. We kind of got to flex our muscle a little bit. But outside of that,
we're all 2-1. The Saints are 2-1, the Falcons are 2-1, and the Bucks are 2-1. So somebody's got to lose. So we'll see who comes out of the weekend, sitting on top of the division. Absolutely.
You know who's not 2-1, and we're going to touch on this real quick and then keep it moving because I don't even think it's worth too much conversation, is the Dallas Cowboys, who are currently sitting at 1-2. Rough start to the season so far, but sorry guys, this ain't ESPN. We don't give the Cowboys too much love around here. I'm not a believer. You a believer, bro?
No, not absolutely not. We know we've had this conversation. There's no reason to believe in the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's fun to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I get the attraction. I get the star on the helmet. I get the color scheme is nice. I get the stadium is nice. I get the history and the lore, which will attract you to this team. But if we're being realistic, there's no reason to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. There's no reason to talk about the Dallas Cowboys since 1995. Let's keep it a buck. So any year since 1995 that you brought up, not you, but them, have brought up Dallas Cowboys, it's been a moot point. It's because you like your team and it's your favorite team, but your team ain't shaking nothing. And there's no reason for us to believe that this Dallas Cowboys team is any different than any other Dallas Cowboys team we've seen since 1995. They got the same makeup of characters of people. They don't play defense. They got people more interested in being on podcasts than they are playing football. Bro, get out of here. Get out of here.
Hey, y'all want to switch? Which one of y'all Cowboys want to switch? I'll take your spot right now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you come do this right here. I got
you. What are you doing?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Give me the ball right now. As old as I am right now, you give me the ball 4th and 1, I'm going to get that first down, guys. I'm sorry. And throw it to me out in the flat. I'm going to catch that too.
Now, hold on, bro. You see how Zeke look out there. And Zeke got like 10 years on you, bro. And if Zeke looks like that now, you think you going to shake something out there?
I'm not going to go ahead and cliche and throw it out there and say, but they not like us and they not like us. This is, hey man, this some Dove Ridge boys. Shout out to Dove Ridge. Shout out, shout out,
Oh,
shout out to Southwest Junior High. What is it now? Middle school, probably so. Hey man, nah, bro. I don't care what Zeke look like, man. Hey, Zeke, if you 260, oh, you can't get a yard. I ain't trying to hear that, bro. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. I just wanted to give that layup or throw that alley oop to my brother so he could go ahead and beat up on the Cowboys real quick. But the reality, the last thing I got to say about the Cowboys is that Cowboy fans, let me remind you that the you guys have the same record as the Carolina Panthers right now. So they not like us, especially when we talk about them Saints. Y'all ain't like
wow.
us. So let's not talk about the Cowboys this year.
I was going to say, before we move on, because we are talking about this, can we just talk about quickly Bryce Young? How you feel about the situation? What do you think they should do? What's your thoughts on Bryce Young? And since we're staying in the NFC South, we'll wrap the NFC South up.
Dang, I guess this is a hot take, one of those reels that you could go ahead and throw out there, right? Because it's interesting that we decided to jump on and start out this week because it comes on the heels of the conversation that we just had a few days ago. The first time we talked about football this year, and we were talking about how Tua Vita Tapadaloga. Listen, man, Tua. First of all, let me just go on record and say I think that personally Tua should retire. And the reason I think Tua should retire, yes, you guys have heard this conversation 1,000 times already before, but I told you what it is here on South Florida Ave. We talk about real football, ins and outs, X's and O's, and we keep it 100, 100, 100 because we know what we talk about. I've never seen a player go out and have a concussion and their entire body start clenching up when they're having that concussion. I've had a concussion personally back in the day. Thanks, Coach Joe. I mean, we used to light each other up at practice and, come off the field, you ain't going to play type stuff, hard-nosed football. We all went through it when we were younger. Yes, it's a different league right now, but in all my experience of watching football, I've never seen a guy clutch up as they were catching a concussion. Yes, wobbly legs, never clutch fingers or like stiff fingers in any capacity. Tua keeps going through it. The guy needs to retire. I don't think we're going to see him anymore this year. I say all that to say this. You got a guy by the name of Bryce Young, very similar type of quarterback, very similar hype coming out of the University of Alabama. And all of a sudden, he's available and not wanted by the Carolina Panthers. And we got a guy in Mike McDaniel who ain't scared to go do anything to shake up anything to make his team better. And I think you're going to see a hard pursuit by the Miami Dolphins to bring in Bryce Young to come and potentially save this season because he's a good pick and he's a good fit. If they can make that work on paper somehow, meaning if the Panthers really want to give up Bryce Young just like that, I think you'll see him in a Miami Dolphin uniform real soon.
Yeah, it makes sense. Listen, and that's why I wanted to bring some attention to it, because when you said it the other day, I was like, and if we're completely a buck, I know I saw this on Bleacher Report. That's why we make this report so interesting to us to bring it up, because 24 hours before the report was on Bleacher Report, you said this to me. So that's why this is so funny that we just want to, let you know that we ain't riding on anyone's coattails, just us having a conversation. This happened fluidly, naturally with us. So we was like, man, we should bring this to the attention of people that, hey, we kind of was on this before anybody else was on it. You had thought of, hey, why not bring Bryce Young down to Miami and let him start over at the Dolphins? Like, man, what a great idea. Tua, we don't know the situation. Bryce Young is trying to start over. Man, that would be a great little situation little bow on this situation for everybody involved. I think it'd be great for the Panthers, great for the Dolphins. They should look into it. We'll move on. We'll digress. This season has been so exciting.
Before we digress, since we're on topic, since we're going on record, because I also threw out there that if the Dolphins can't make that happen, ladies and gentlemen, don't be too surprised if Russell Wilson makes his way down here to South Florida as well, because I know a situation. I feel like he won't be too happy being on the bench too long, but that's still to be determined. We'll keep our eyes on that. Go ahead, Vic.
No, that's another good takeaway. I don't know how that would work because, I don't know. That'll be interesting. I think that one's a little bit more tricky because, Russ is the one with the big contract, and we know how NFL contracts work. Here today, gone tomorrow. So I recognize that. But Russell's already bought a house. He's kind of settled in Pittsburgh, and now to be like, oh, You want to be the Miami Dolphins quarterback? Man, that would be interesting. Again, it will probably help both parties involved. It'll probably help Russell Wilson. He can play immediately. It looks like Justin Fields is going to take that job in Pittsburgh and kind of keep it. And then Miami Dolphins have a quarterback that's kind of similar to Tua. Maybe they can keep running the same things that they've been running. So that could be a win-win situation for everybody involved. That could be another marriage made in heaven. Bryce Young, Russell Wilson, we'll look out for it. The trade deadline is going to be definitely exciting coming up in this NFL season. Bringing it back to the NFL season. The season's kicked off. We're only in week 3. A lot of stuff to be determined. What doesn't need to be determined is that the Kansas City Chiefs are really, really good. And they're good again this year. And I guess the question I have to you right now in week 3, before we kick off week 4, is there anybody out there that can possibly beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Let's just keep it a buck right now. Is there anybody out there that can beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Let's just keep it in the AFC. I don't want you to predict the Super Bowl matchup for me. Let's just keep it in the AFC. Is there anybody that can beat the Kansas City Chiefs?
There's only one team that can beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. I think we know this already. We had this conversation in the AFC Championship game last year. The Ravens have gotten better, which they had to do. I think they've made the appropriate step that they needed to take.
I just
like that?
I heard. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you right. You did say the Ravens have gotten better, right?
They got better. Okay. I mean, hey, listen, they got better.
You know they're 1-2, right?
I do.
Okay. Check. Okay, continue. Go ahead.
Well, I can't recall now that we're just starting now. We haven't really dug back in the archives yet, but I don't know. I think Kansas City sat at 1-1 early in the season. They might even went 1-2 at the beginning of the year last year. The one thing we know, I can't recall, bro. I think they may have gone.
They lost the opener. No, they lost the opener, but I don't know they went 0-2. I don't know they went 0-2. I know they didn't lose the opener, and everybody's like, "Oh, it was the Lions." Well, the Lions went to Kansas City and beat them.
So second game they probably won, and then they probably
sure they won the second game.
That's fine. That would be able to put them at 1-1. I think they might have lost that third game as well. The problem about the problem and the point is that easily became irrelevant as the season went on. Sure, they had a young Bryce as a receiver. He was dropping ball week 3. Now he looks like a freaking perennial freaking Pro Bowler at this point in time, looking nasty. Their receivers have gotten ridiculously better. They're down a running back. That's a problem. Pacheco is the man. He's probably one of the top 4 running backs. I'm gonna be bold right now without even thinking about it. We're gonna go through our tops this year. Top receivers, top quarterbacks, whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw him in the top 3 running backs right now. As far as impact on a football game, he's probably top 3. I don't see too many other backs better than him, aside from maybe King Henry. That was a great pickup. So for them to be at 1-2 right now with a bunch of scrubs in front of them like the Cincinnati Bengals, Browns, they'll get it together. I'm confident that they will, and steal some wins at the very worst case scenario. But at the end of the day, we know that the Ravens have to be in top-notch shape come week 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And with Lamar Jackson, Superman himself, right? I don't see him. He's going to will his team to plenty of clutch wins. He's that guy. Hey, let's be real. They're 1-2 right now, but they could have been 1-2-1 right now if a guy gets 6 inches of his toes off the back of the line. What a freaking game! Amazing game to open up the game. That's a way to lose if you're going to lose. If you're going to lose like that. So sure, they're 1-2, but clearly they're just on paper, right? And when you watch them play football, they're just that much better. They can avoid a whole bunch of injuries this year. They're the only. But let me get back to your point. They're the only team in the AFC that can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Because I don't know what's going on with the Texans right now. I was big on the Texans last year when we started out this.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. Talk to me.
I think you're overlooking a team that's actually in your AFC team's division.
Buffalo Bills?
Yeah. Let me just give me a minute here to talk to you guys briefly about Josh Allen. You guys, last year, Josh Allen was amazing. For the last 3 seasons, this guy has been phenomenal. Like, you just look at the stats. I don't have them here in front of me. I don't have to. I've been watching the games, so I know it's been great. That was with Stephon Diggs. Okay. There's no Diggs this year. Okay. They got some guy named Cook that's playing running back that I don't even know where he came from. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Josh Allen is throwing to people who don't have last names. He's throwing to people who are not drafted. It doesn't matter what's happening in Buffalo because Josh Allen cannot be stopped. Bro, I don't know. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. I'm really not. But these first 3 games, this man looks like nothing is going to bother him. Nothing. I don't care if he's on the road. I don't care if they're at home. I don't care what's happening. Buffalo Bills looks like this season is their season. If Jordan Mahomes was going to be dethroned, I think it's going to be Josh Allen, and it's going to be this year.
Yeah, okay. I mentioned a term. I wrote it down. Thinking we could throw a whole bunch of segments going forward that we got to kind of touch on. I'm thinking about starting one called On Paper. And this inspired by the Buffalo Bills. On paper, Josh Allen's amazing. On paper,
visually watching the game, he's amazing. What are you talking about? Every game they're in,
well,
and it's because of Josh Allen.
I'm going to give you that. The reason I use Josh Allen as the definition of on paper, because on paper, they should contend with the Kansas City Chiefs. However, the reality is, unfortunately, we've had the same conversation about the Buffalo Bills for the last 3.5 years. Josh Allen, so amazing. The Buffalo Bills, so undefeatable, unbeatable. And they keep getting beat, man.
No one says they're unbeatable or beatable because the Kansas City Chiefs are the current Super Bowl champions. Everyone knows who the champs are. We're talking about who can contend, who can possibly contend to dethrone Jordan Mahomes and them boys over in Missouri. And right now, the only team that I can be convinced of, coming into the year, I would have been like Baltimore, for sure. I'm like, oh, Baltimore Ravens. And even after the first game of the season, I'm still convinced Baltimore is one of those teams that's definitely going to compete. But right now, I don't see anybody else dealing with Buffalo. As a matter of fact, if Buffalo and Kansas City were to play tomorrow, I would take Buffalo over Kansas City.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's
I would.
We're going to call this segment times 2 because this is what we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do this. So I'm going to give you one more opportunity this year to revisit this conversation. We're going to say around week 8. It's about mid-season, right? Mm-hmm. And basically what I want you to go on record and say, or be bold enough to say, so are you saying that even though we're not predicting anything, you are saying that basically the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills are going to be in the AFC Championship game? Because it sounds like I'm saying, why you ponder that? Because it sounds like I'm saying, and I'm standing on mine, Ravens are going to be in the AFC Championship game. So therefore, either the Bills are going to have to be that other contender or the Ravens. Are you saying that's going to be the Bills?
Well, I think if it's the Bills or the Ravens, whoever it is, they're probably going to have to go through Kansas City.
What if keeping Kansas City safely out of the equation?
Well, it's hard to keep them out of the equation because I'm assuming they're going to have home field advantage because I'm going to assume they're going to have the best record, which means that if I'm an AFC team, I have to travel to Kansas City to beat Jordan Mahomes in Arrowhead. And if I had to pick a team right now, whether it's Baltimore or Buffalo or Los Angeles Chargers, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to travel to Arrowhead to beat Patrick Mahomes. I feel like that's the only team right now that can do that.
Okay. And that's fair. I respect that. Week 8, we're going to give you another opportunity to either change that. Hey, why I say
build
week
on
8,
that.
injuries
build
happens.
on that or not. Sure.
Yeah, they're either a solid team, their whole team got hurt. That might be a worthy opportunity to change, and that's fair. I'm going with the Ravens. I think they're going to beat the Bills, but we're going to revisit that because I don't think the Bills.
See.
I think the Bills will split the Bills. And
I do know somebody who probably doesn't like the way the conversation is going right now. Will be like, I would want to have something to say about that, and that would probably be Mike Tomlinson. And the only reason why we can't put Mike in these conversations is because while his team is consistently good, and we said on this channel we are not going to go against Mr. Tomlinson ever on this channel, and we stand by that. We are with Mr. Tomlinson, but man, they are just barely getting into the playoffs every year. And until we realize that they have some solid quarterback play, this has to be the consistent. I'm with you, Justin Fields. I'm seeing the games. I'm seeing what you're doing. More of a game manager. Nevertheless, not losing the game, So, hey, looks way better than Chicago. I've been watching Caleb Williams. I see what you're talking about now, Justin Fields. I see what you're talking about. So we feel you, bro. We feel you. Man, Caleb, bro, stay healthy, bro.
I'm gonna second that motion and say this, because with the Pittsburgh Steelers, like you said, we learned our lesson last year with Mike Tomlinson. We're not trying you anymore, Mike. But I will say this: until Justin Fields can will his team to a touchdown, we need a touchdown on this drive. No, hear me out, bro.
Oh,
We need
okay.
a touchdown.
I see
We need a
okay.
touchdown on this drive. It's a big drive. Boom, we score. I don't care if it's the first quarter, second quarter, third, or fourth. We punted twice. We need a touchdown this time. I need to will my team to a touchdown. That's Lamar Jackson all day. Lamar can will himself. And as much as I hate to say it, Josh Allen can will his team to a touchdown when necessary. That's what Patrick Mahomes specializes at. That's why he's Jordan Mahomes. He just specializes in touchdowns every time they need one. So that's until he can do that, Pittsburgh is out of the equation.
Can we talk about this real quick? We ain't got to stay on it long, but can we talk about, or have you been hearing any of the buzzing or the chirping about Kansas City and Kansas City getting breaks, or Kansas City getting, whistles, favorable whistles, is the reason why that this win streak is happening, and maybe because of the whole Taylor Swift effect. Can you speak on that? We got anything to say about that? What you got?
I can definitely speak on it, because we're not getting paid by anybody to not say what it is that we need to say. So we're not going to get fined, sanctioned, or anything like that. It's very simple for me, bro. First of all, they are the champs. And if you're an NFL ref, you're probably going to pay attention to the game a lot more when the Kansas City Chiefs are playing, because they earn that respect. Number one. Number two, if you have that argument, then you're failing to remember that the other team involved is constantly putting themselves in position where those calls actually matter and dictate the outcome of the game. I will speak specifically to the last play that we saw with Kyle Pitts. Perfect example. Kansas City, Kyle Pitts ended the game, ball thrown in end zone. Coach went on record saying he was not going to touch on it because he likes his money. I don't know if you saw that clip. He said, I ain't even going to comment about it because I like my money and I ain't going against the refs. Okay, that's fine. Here's my comment for not him, but for that game and that call. You put the ref in a really bad position, not Kyle Pitts, but your quarterback. You'd have threw the ball a little bit higher where he can actually make a football play on the ball and then been affected. That's one thing. But the reality is he threw the ball in the back of the defender so that Kyle Pitts had to reach over the back of the defender to try to catch it. That's a bang, bang call, real time. I get the no call. Come on, man. Better quarterback, you throw it up in the air, he jumps up, his arm pulled down or something. That's an easy call. That was a tough call, so I'm not going to entertain that too much. Sure, they get calls. Every team gets calls. Don't get it twisted. I could call a lot of calls during the game that were questionable for any team. The defenses alone for every team in the league right now get penalized every single play. It's a late hit. It's a low blow. It's a freaking targeting hit. Like, you can't even touch the receivers no more. There's flags all over the place. Why is it limited to just the Kansas City Chiefs? Because they do it so strategically and consistently. Which, hey, let's forget about the fact that the other team just had to punt when they should have scored, and now they gave Jordan Mahomes a chance to score with 3 minutes left on the clock. Bro, we've seen this play before. We've seen Jordan do it 27 times. You know what's going to happen. Don't put yourself in that position, and you won't have a problem. When I start seeing those calls happen against the offense, then I'll start speaking up on it.
So, just to make sure I'm clear, I think you're saying that you're hearing a bunch of malarkey. You don't think the refs are not helping out the Kansas City Chiefs any more than they're helping out any other team. You're not buying this whole getting calls, make sure they win because Taylor Swift fans, etc.
Oh man, I believe in true football, and I watch true football. I watch the rest of
Fair
the
enough.
game. I don't watch the flags that come out when the refs are throwing them. I watch those other 27. Don't forget about the 98 yards y'all gave up rushing the whole game. Like the running back is going crazy on y'all. Y'all ain't
Yeah,
stopping that. Why y'all
I
worry
like
about the
that.
refs?
I
Come on,
like
man.
that. I like it. I like. I'm with you. Just so we're clear, I'm with you. I don't buy into this whole. Oh, we're gonna start letting Kansas City win games because Taylor Swift fans are watching the game. No, that's got to be the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. You guys are just mad because you're losing to Kansas City, and I don't know why you're more mad this year than you've been in another year because you've been losing to them for the last 3 or 4 years. So why you more mad this year? I don't know. Why all of a sudden Kansas City getting more calls than y'all? I don't know. But like you say, you just had the ball and you couldn't do nothing with it. Now you give me the ball back and I go score. Don't get mad at me. Don't be mad at
No,
me.
no.
Moving
But
on.
since we're talking about football entertainment, how do you feel about Kendrick Lamar doing the Super Bowl in New Orleans, in my city of New Orleans, versus, uh, well, you already know where this is going. How do you feel about
Yeah,
Kendrick Lamar doing the Super
listen,
Bowl?
I'm
Keep it
I'm
simple.
really I'm trying to keep it simple and I can't simplify it any more than I'm torn. And I gotta keep it a buck with you. I'm torn. I'm torn for Lil Wayne because it's his city. I get why he should be doing it. Lil Wayne's got a gazillion hits. He's got a gazillion people he can bring out on stage. I get it. I also get it coming from Kendrick Lamar's point of view. Kendrick Lamar's super duper hot right now. He's probably got the record of the year. So how could and not to mention people are forgetting the fact that Kendrick Lamar has already performed in the Super Bowl twice. So again, people forget that this man's got a pedigree. He's already in and if you will, it's kind of like this club they're forming with these Super Bowl performances, and you kind of got to have a certain je ne sais quoi, if you will, in order to do this. And for lack of a better word, sometimes Little Wayne can be less than. And I'm just keeping it a buck with you. So I feel like, again, I'm not, we keep it a buck here, man. Well, I'm keeping 1,000% with you. Like, you got some videos of Lil Wayne doing performances where he's not giving his best performance. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Okay. He's got video of coming out on stage and not looking like he's prepared. So if you're asking me to make a business decision with one of the most biggest business ventures ever for the year, I'm going to probably go with the person that has got the pedigree and has already kind of been in the system and kind of know how this works, opposed to just going out and getting the person because we're in their city, that particular year. So I'm torn, and that's the best way I can put it. I hurt for Louise. I'm happy for Lamar or Kendrick, but I'm happy Kendrick's doing it.
Lamar Jackson, Kendrick Lamar in the Super Bowl against the New Orleans Saints, clearly at home. Who that? You heard it here
Listen,
first.
New Orleans getting to the Super Bowl, and
Okay, I
obviously
wish it
that's
on
the
the start.
dream.
Okay,
You don't know, no, but I'm gonna say that's the dream for everybody. Everybody wants to do that. They want to play the Super Bowl in their stadium. Like, we just did that a couple of years ago, right? Somebody just did that. Was it the Rams? They just had the Super Bowl in the.
yeah,
So
it was the
you want
Rams.
to play the Super Bowl in your stadium. That's the best. That's the dopest experience. And with it being in New Orleans this year, there should be very good incentive for the Saints to try to make the playoffs and get there. Absolutely.
All right,
Mhm.
let's go through the furious five, furious 5 minutes of predictions right here. Sunday, we got Lions Seahawks. Who you got?
That should be a good game. Seahawks are undefeated. Geno Smith looks amazing. The Lions, did you just get knocked off their pedestal? We beat them. But what are they doing up there? I don't know. Dan Campbell, man, I'm gonna go with the Lions though. I'm gonna roll with the Lions. Seahawks are undefeated, but I'm gonna roll with the Lions.
Sunday night at 8:20 p.m. The Bills that we just talked about are taking on the Ravens. Lamar Jackson versus
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Holy
That we just
cow.
highlighted. Yeah, Ravens at
Undefeated
home.
Bills versus 1-2 Ravens. The Ravens really need that game. They
What
really,
a game
really need that game. I don't think they're going to
at
get it.
home. 8:20. Ravens take a L. Bills go move on to 4-0. Monster status. Okay.
Yeah,
All
Josh
right.
Allen wins
You heard
and
it here
flex on
first.
the Josh Allen wins and flexes on the whole league. If they win this game,
Dang.
look out. They only looking for Kansas City after that. After that, they only see Kansas City. They win this game. Woo!
Dang. Okay.
Mm.
Packers taking on the Vikings this Sunday at 1 o'clock in Green Bay. Vikings undefeated. Packers are the Packers. Looking pretty solid. Who you got?
Man, Sam Donaldson. What? Okay, let's for
Darnold.
real. Let's be Sam Donaldson. Sam Donald. Let's be real. Defense is amazing. Let's keep it a buck now. Let's keep it a buck. The defense is awesome. So, man, Packers at home?
Yes, Green Bay's at home.
Huh. Give me Packers at home.
I agree with you.
Packers at home. Secondary touchdown. Touchdown second. Yeah, I like it. Sam Donald's gonna throw some interceptions.
All right, so give me a quick one on the Steelers Colts. Colts at home. Both teams need a W. Steelers taking that game in Indianapolis, making themselves officially irrelevant.
Yep, I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to probably have to draft another quarterback because I don't think Anthony Richardson is it.
Oh, let me not pull that tape from last year because I told you so. Golly. Moving on. Are you taking your Bucks against the Eagles at home? Buccaneers at home?
Of course.
100%.
Although that's more heart than head. Just keeping it a buck.
It's fine. It is. It is what it is. Saints Falcons. Falcons at home.
No, Saints. I don't believe in the Falcons. Right. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm keeping it a buck. I'm keeping it a buck. I don't believe in y'all, Falcon fans. I don't believe in y'all. Like, what are you doing? I don't care. It doesn't matter. It looks good. Kirk Cousins, really? You letting Bjorn run the ball now a little bit? You want to try to get Kyle and Pitts involved? Man, I don't believe in it. I don't. So no.
Speaking of the Vikings, I mean, I feel like what Sam Darnold is doing in Minnesota is the Kirk Cousins effect. Nothing to be right home about, folks. So calm down. They did the same thing last year. On to NCAA football. Big game. First of all right, since we're on NCAA football, what do you think about the Miami Hurricanes?
Playoff team.
I know. No, full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to a Gator. This is hard conversation for them. What you think about the Miami Hurricanes?
Playoff team.
They look a little better than the playoff team, don't you think?
Well, that's as far as I can take them right now. Nah, I don't know about all that because, again, playoffs, when it happens, is different. But I can see them making it to the playoffs, yeah. But we got to get a little late in the season before I start predicting NCAA champions. But the Hurricanes are definitely going to go to playoffs.
I respect that, especially when we're talking about especially when we're talking about NCAA football. Yeah. I respect that. This week, only thing
they got everything.
I agree. Only thing to talk about this week with the NCAA football, number two Georgia versus number 4. Who you got?
Alabama's at home, right? Georgia's going to Alabama. I'm gonna take Alabama. Alabama at home.
I agree.
Alabama.
Yeah, I don't see them fumbling twice. I feel like they fumbled the whole season last year. This year is their year for their comeback season. I think they make a comeback this year. They take it, beat Georgia convincingly, and knock them off their pedestal. Georgia's been on a pretty solid run as a dominant football team so far. Texas is a joke. They ain't a joke, but they ain't believable. They ain't a joke. All right, they ain't a joke, but they ain't believable. They're going to get knocked off real soon. You heard it here first. I don't believe them.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Alabama's probably going to run the table. It's a big game for them, for their confidence for the rest of the season and their trajectory.
Alabama has to play Texas later in the year, but remember, we're talking about SEC school now, so this whole conference is wide open. You got Georgia. Alabama beating Georgia convincingly.
Not necessarily convincingly.
You just said convincingly. So I'm trying to. What are you saying? What are you saying here? You're saying Alabama's gonna beat them convincingly? Is that what you just said, or no? Not convincingly.
Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean by the scoreboard. But yeah, they're gonna beat them. They're gonna look good the whole game. They're gonna look like a really solid football team against a really solid football team, but a more dominant team. And they're gonna beat
Wow.
Georgia and knock them off of their high horse, which Georgia has a rightfully so. Georgia deserves to be on a high horse. But this one's gonna
No,
humble them a little bit. And I think it's gonna change the trajectory of college football as far as who's the dominant teams. Alabama takes the top again, and the only person they'll have to prove it against it at that point in time is Texas, and they're going to beat Texas convincingly both ways.
all right, man. That's big. Texas fans probably got to say, Georgia fans got a lot to say about that. So yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see this. But you're right. This is a big game. There's another game to mention though. I mean, it's not as big as this game. Clearly, we just got this is the number 2 versus number 4. This game I'm going to mention is not even ranked. But your alma mater is playing Coach Prime this weekend. What do you have to say about that? Anything about UCF, Colorado?
Man,
Looking
you
forward
can
to it?
tell.
What?
Well, we're going to end that segment on this note because we're definitely brothers. Because I was going to mention Colorado as the last topic of conversation, and
Ooh,
boy, do I have a lot to say about that. Absolutely, I have a
ooh.
lot to say about UCF going in and getting this win. Because who am I to go against UCF right now? Go Knights, baby! We got this. We need this game to show everybody that we for real in Florida and can actually get some attention in Florida, like Prime and the boys are getting in Colorado. I
You guys are
mean,
3-0, bro.
respectfully.
You're 3-0 in the Big 12.
Yeah, but let's be real here. We're 3-0, but we're not a dominant school here in Florida because there's so many. So this will be real good for our resume as we're 3-0 in the Big 12. But what I really want to talk about is Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Because we were talking about this offline, and I'm telling you, bro, I don't. I think the run is coming to an end. I feel like we won't be talking about Coach Prime too much longer, and it won't be by his choice. I feel like Colorado is a lot of hype, and they definitely built a lot of hype. But I think whether this is off topic or not, that Dion made a mistake by leaving an HBCU, going over to Colorado when he could have changed the trajectory of how HBCU football was played, how HBCUs were perceived football wise, and changed a lot of lives for a lot of kids. And to be quite real with you, he sold out. He went to the NCAA, and now he's he's an average coach. What can I say? Sure, the interviews are nice and he's real hype and it looks real good, but every NFL coach we've seen this game for a long time. It's all hype in the beginning until you start losing enough, and then they start looking for somebody else. And I think that's haunting Coach Prime right now. We won't be
Ooh,
seeing a lot of these games on TV much longer after week 5. Put it that way.
bro.
I'm
Okay.
upset.
I see. I see. And I dig you just wanted to give us a little editorial on your feelings about Coach Prime and the situation. I
Yeah.
gotta disagree with you though. I gotta disagree with you on almost everything you mentioned. Let's start with him helping people because granted he's not in Jackson, Mississippi, but he's in college. He's still helping all the people, all the players on his team, whether it's in Jackson, Mississippi, or now in Boulder, Colorado. He's still going to be a foundation to those gentlemen that he's going to help in this team. So yeah, the community doesn't look the same, but he's still helping his community, regardless of where he is. If he's in Jackson, he's helping them. If he's in Boulder, he's helping them. Dion, Coach Prime, is a magnet to attraction, bro. It doesn't matter, if you can tell by last year's record, it's still the enigma is still there. That's why the excitement is here as well. I think the only time Coach Prime is going to be ready to go leave Colorado is because he's ready to leave Colorado. I don't think they're going to be sending him out anywhere. Him means money. Coach Prime means money to the university. It means money to the students. It means money to the student athletes. This is an attraction appeal, and they're going to keep him. They're going to ride that train until the train falls off. That being said, Mike Norvell keeps going down the path that he's going. I can see Deion Sanders leaving Colorado for Florida State. I can see him coming back to his alma mater to coach there. But outside of that, no, man. He's going to be right there in Boulder next year and the year after that until the NFL comes along crawling. Like I said, unless he can get a package deal where him and Shador can go to the same NFL team, You can expect Coach Prime to be in Boulder, Colorado until somebody else comes knocking with a big check and bigger facilities and etc. So he's a businessman. He's a free agent, bro. That's what he's trying to do. He built his resume up. He's doing what he wants to do.
I respect that. I agree with everything that you said. And again, it is an emotional thing for me. But at the end of the day,
I get it.
because he is a business. Like the one thing that we don't need, and we're just going to be very socialistic at this point in time. We know Coach Prime. You don't need the money, man. You don't need that money. Uh, the HBCUs need you. That same prestige that you bring to the University of Colorado is why they don't want to fire him. They're not going to fire him, and they're super excited to have him because of all the hype that follows him. Man, you were bringing that to the HBCU, and that's what you said you were going to do. And all of a sudden, you let the money must be the money that baited you out of that opportunity because you could have went down in history as a real game changer, very Colin Kaepernick style, and you decided to just go ahead and sell out and turn your back on the HBCUs. And there's no excuse realistically.
In his defense, he told you that in 1993. So he told you back then. He told you. He put it in a song. He told you. So you know what you're getting. Getting Prime, baby. Pay me. What my Louis?
HBCUs, y'all got to go find somebody else, man. I don't know who it is. Go find Barry Sanders or somebody. I got to put somebody out there to try to switch it up. But
yeah, I hear you. They tried to do it with Ed Reed. You remember, Ed Reed wasn't having it. He went over to Bethune-Cookman for 2 days and had to quit because he was like, "This is some bull. Y'all ain't got nothing going over here right. Y'all ain't got nothing right. It's crazy."
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank y'all again for tuning in to South Florida Ask Season 2, Episode 1. We're going to be here doing what we do. Bring it to you live. Bring it to you hot. Keeping it real.
Yeah.
And all that other good stuff. So until next time, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Bro, love you.
Yes,
enjoy the game.
Love you.
I'll talk on the flip side.
For sure. Holla, y'all.
Peace.